Hello again, welcome back to some more Random Game Engine RGE. Today we're going to focus on making a window. Oh yeah. And I decided to make it a little bit more planned than I usually do it. I just kind of throw a video together and just throw it on YouTube. But this time around we're going to try to keep kind of an agenda. For this video we're going to create a basic window for our little random game engine. I was kind of mixed between if I should use OO or should I use some procedural code alongside the OO. So I kind of took the middle ground. What we're going to work on is a window singleton, which is going to have all the window stuff that's going to be needed for our little engine so far. We'll also create an IApp interface, which is basically a callback for several different methods. Each of them is for each part of the initialization and release. I guess what would it be called? Well, the game engine pipeline from initialization to heartbeat, which we're going to implement both variable updates and fixed updates, rendering, and the opposite side of initialization, which is releasing all our memory. And we'll also try to create a simple little scratchpad application which implements this interface. So let's begin. First of all, we're going to create a new header file. No, when you open, we're going to give it a nice little descriptive name. I'm going to call you win.h, and because I just opened Visual Studio, so I'm going to have to change its location. There we go. I don't like pragma wants. If and def nh define nh and def. Alright, then we're also going to add in our CP file for win. There we go. And we're going to include sys.h. Now you might be wondering, why are we including sys.h? We should be including this one. Well, we're going to do some cheating here. The reason why I like doing it this way is because the only thing I want to include is sys.h. We put all our includes here, and we will put them in order for dependencies. I don't like having a ton of includes, and plus I'm slightly lazy in some cases, but oh well. Let's continue. Okay, let's look at our agenda. We're going to work on a basic singleton for our window, so we need a class. So class window manager. Okay, so we're going to private and public. Because we're creating a singleton, we're going to want to have a static window manager instance. And for the rest of the fields that we're going to need for the other stuff, we're going to need to we're going to have one for UN32. Also, one benefit of doing this is that all of these includes, because they're added in before I included this, I can use these header files. It's a nice little mixed benefit. Oh well, width, UN32 height. This for width of screen, height of screen, public. because we're using SDL, we need an SDL window. This is window. Oh, why did I do that? I just got up just a while ago. DL context. There we go. Oh. Call this context. And we also want to have a is running. Okay. Just the basic variables we will need for this. So for now, what we're gonna also next, let's look at the agenda real fast. Okay. Next thing we're gonna kind of create is our interface class that has all these methods. So we're gonna do it above here because IApp actually Window Manager depends on IApp, and we don't need privates because this is an interface. What am I doing? Oh, virtual void. Void init. Make you set to 0. Void. Let's see. Update. Float delta. This is for variable updates. This next one is going to be for fixed updates. So void fixed update. It's going to be also set to 0 because this is a pure interface, and 1 for rendering. This is for rendering. And last but not least, releasing, which we need for deallocating everything. Okay. Now we have all that set up. Let's start adding methods to the window manager. First one we need is a static get instance. No. Stop it. Manager. Why are you doing this? I know. Alright, so after we get the instance, we need to have a private. We're going to throw our constructors up here. So our window manager, copy constructor. Operator equals, I think that's what it is, if I remember correctly. Window. Let's just leave it at that. Keep those up there. The one I want to implement is this one. Okay, so now we're going to do void init string cap ELENT 32. What's a good name for this? Width ELENT 32. height, and IApp. We're just going to call it app for now. App. And default value, we're just going to set it to 0. Okay. Now, let's add in these other methods. Void. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. Update. That's going to be for the heartbeat. This is release, which is going to release all the memory. And let's simple getters and setters. Get width. 32. Get height. And void exit. We need copy these. Come on, over there. So file. And we're going to copy the private, this one. Okay, so now we need the window manager, and we're going to copy this to all here. Get rid of this because statics are not needed for these methods. There we go. So now we have everything that we want, and for that I also need to add in the static instance so I can set it to 0. So window manager instance not is running equals 0. There we go. Okay. So what should we do? Okay. We have 2 things that need to be set to null. Actually, 3 things. IApp needs to be set to null. Context needs to be set to null because this is technically a void pointer. And this window pointer needs to be set to null for now, just to keep everything kind of straightened up. So, for the constructor, this dot window equals 0. This dot context equals 0, and this app equals 0. The reason why I'm doing it with a kind of initialization, for starters, you don't want to do a whole bunch of logic in your constructors. It's not a good idea. So, especially for a game where you want to release everything in a certain order, because yeah. Oh well, let's continue. For the most part, this part right here. So we're going to check to see if when manager instance equal to 0, and then what we're going to do is create a new. Come on. Instance equals new. New window. Oh. And we're going to return window instance. Okay. we're going to need another method with this instance, which is basically destroy. Void destroy to get rid of that method up here. Just to play it safe. And I'm also going to make it where destroy. Make it where before it destroys it, it's going to instance release. There you go. So you just have to call the destroy method from the class and kills the instance. And after that, we're going to delete. Delete window manager instance. Sorry about this. Instance, and we're just going to set that to 0. Alright. Boom, boom, boom. Got these implemented. So now for the fun part. First of all, one more thing in here. This dot is running is true. This method will simply set this is running to false for right now. We might add in some more methods later. This will return height. This will return, how am I doing? Return this dot width. And this will do this will release everything. Okay, so let's get started on this one. This method is going to be the biggest method in this window singleton because it requires a lot of setup. Let's see how much time we have. 17 minutes. Okay, we're doing good. It requires a lot of stuff. So first off, we want to do set width. Width. We're going to get rid of this right here because that will give us an error. Height. This app, what we call app. That's all we need to do there. Next, set variable. Let's write up a couple of lists in here of stuff we want to do. Next thing we want to do is set up SDL, set up glue. We're going to put other inits, which is going to come in later once we add in other subsystems, and this will init app if is not null. Yeah, let's begin. So SDL init SDL init everything. Just for now. We might change it later. Next thing we want to do is SDL window, or should I say, we're not going to do any checks for right now. I'll add those in later. Window, and trying to remember what goes into here. Let's look at some documentation real fast. Let you steal window. Steal create window. And this is oh, okay. Cap.c str. This will be this not. This will be STL. Let's see here. Oh. Window pose undefined. STL window pose undefined. This will be our width. No. Width. This height. And we're going to need to have window OpenGL. And we're going to bitmask this to video shown. And that should be it for that method. We'll do null checking later. Actually, before that, we have something else to set up. OpenGL Context. Context and double buffering. What we want to do is create a OpenGL 3 context. And let's go back to agenda. Right there. So GL context. Text major version. And we're simply going to copy and paste this 4 times because I want to use double buffering. This will be minor version. Minor. And this one right here is going to be for context profiling, which is something profile mask. And we're going to add in, because I want to use the profile core, we don't want to use anything from old OpenGL. The only thing that I want to use is modern, because this is a new project, so why use the old OpenGL stuff? Oh well. And this will be for depth buffer, for double buffering. Double buffer. Seems simple one. There we go. Now we have our context. We could set stuff for how big the depth buffer is, or the color information for the color buffer, stencil buffer, or whatever. But this is really all you really need if you want to truly get started with modern OpenGL with SDL. So let's continue. Next thing we're going to want is the context, and this is get window. I forgot this one. Create. Yeah, let's create context. And we're going to pass this window to it. There we go. That's create as a context. And that's pretty much it on setting up SDL. Without the this so-called null checking. But I'm pretty sure this will work on this machine. I'll add that in if somebody's machine doesn't support, say, OpenGL 3.3, which most video cards recently came out should support this context. Oh well. And the next thing we're going to do is do glue, and we're going to init you, which is simple initialization. This section right here is going to be for libraries from our other subsystems, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. How good am I in time? Ooh, this might be a 30-minute video. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is if app is not equal 0, app init. Alright. Updating. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, this is probably going to be a 30-minute video. Oh no. Oh well. Event E. Let's get started with the update. Let's quickly get this typed up. Pull. Let's see here. Is running. While is still po. Event. If it's not, if e.type is equal to SDL quit, then this not exit. For right now, we're going to skip the Scratch interface. We're going to push that to the next video. But I will make sure all these methods are running. So app window fix update first, app update, which we're going to pass in, I don't know, 0.0 right now. And last but not least, rendering. After that, we need SDLGL, and we're going to swap the window. So, this that window. That should be good enough for a little test loop. We're going to, next video, we're going to do set up these methods and get started on inputs. So, yeah. Alright, next thing we're going to do is if app is not equal to 0, app release, and we're going to start destroying everything. So SDL GL delete context, this not the context, SDL destroy window. Alright. And SDL quit. There we go. I think for right now that works. And we're gonna quickly go out over here and we're gonna create a scratch pad. So let's go here and add in some new source code. This is going to basically help us do some quick testing, see if this works or not. So header file, scratch, add app, if and def, this will be included in here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this stuff right here, and we're going to implement it in this scratch pad. Let's see here. And we'll implement all these methods. We're going to simply do printouts from these methods to make sure this is working. Alright, so let's now add, let's see here, item, we're going to name you pad app .cpp. We're going to include sys. Alright. Oh, let's speed this up. This is annoying. Oh. Love it. Don't insert. Alright, so we can do cd cout hello from net. We're going to copy you to all these methods. We're just going to change a couple of things. Release. Render fix update. And update. Okay, that's our scratch pad. Very basic enough. And now we're going to go to main, get rid of you, you're old, go away. Okay, first off, what we want to have is create the scratch pad. So I'm going to call an app. We want an instance of the window manager. See if the singleton is working. We're going to call this WM equals window manager. I'm going to get instance, and we're going to call destroy down here to make sure that the window manager gets destroyed. So now what we're going to do is when init or init, and we're going to call this simple game. No, RandomGameEngine RGE. There we go. We're going to set the 800, 600, and we're going to pass the app. Next, what we want to do is do an update. And we don't have to worry about releasing because this destroy method releases everything. So let's build this, see if it compiles. And if something derpy happens, it should work. Come on. I believe in you. Yay, it works. So let's run it. There we go. Cool. Well, we got a basic window going. And yay. well, that was a decent start. We have a basic scratchpad going. We have a basic window created. It's not perfect. During off screen, I'm going to go back through and do some checks to see if these are created or not. If they're not created, it will basically kill the window and shut it down. But I will do that off screen. And yeah. Also, from previous video, I did get it everything implemented for releasing. So go to release and compile it. Every time when you want to release something into public, that's programming project wise, always do the release, because it doesn't add in the debugging stuff to the executable, and plus you can't really release the debugging DLL files for Visual Studios because that'll be against their contract. But oh well. Everything's set up for the window, and next video we're going to fix up, get these three working, because we're going to need to do a little bit of math for fix updates and update, and we're going to get started on inputs. Alright, so until then, you all take care. See you next time.